We are so excited to welcome you back to Papermoon Performing Arts. We have been waiting many weeks for this moment, and we are so excited that Phase 2 officially begins today, and we will be reopened for class on June 22nd, next Monday. We have been working very hard to make sure that our studio is in compliance with all of our state guidelines and to make sure that dancers feel and are safe when they are inside of our studio. As we announced previously, we will be having a series of outdoor mini recitals on Saturday, June 27th. We are super excited to have this opportunity to be able to still hold some sort of recital for our dancers. Our hope is that by opening up the studio next week, we will be able to meet with the dancers in very small groups by class so that we can get ready for our shows on June 27th. In order to do that, there are obviously a lot of new things that we will have to do to be reopened, and we want to go through the protocol for reopening and let you know how the studio will look different and operate differently when you return next week. First and foremost, dancers and staff should stay home if they are experiencing any symptoms of illness. If there is any shadow of a doubt whatsoever that your dancer is not feeling well, please keep them home. If your dancer or someone in your household has been exposed to somebody with COVID, please be sure to follow all of the guidelines set forth by the CDC in terms of timelines of self-quarantine, and do not send your dancer to class until it is safe to do so. Our first change is that we will be using this door to enter into the studio. This door is located in the middle of the studio space. We will not be using the door that brings us into the shared lobby of the building. That door is to remain locked for the time being. Dancers will remain in their cars until it is time for class to start. When it is time for your class to start, an instructor will come out and prop the door open. She will then walk towards the parking lot and motion to the dancers that it is now time for class to begin. Dancers should make their way into the studio at this point, making sure that they are still remaining socially distant from each other and not walking too closely next to one another. Parents of younger ones, if you could help the instructor space out your kids, that would be awesome. Maybe we can just be mindful and respectful of each other, and when you see that one child has entered the building, you can go ahead and let your child get out. Anything that you guys can do to help facilitate this, to make this easier for our younger dancers, is very much appreciated. Dancers, you will only be allowed to bring in a very small amount of items at this point. You should already have your dance wear on and should have no extras or warm-up clothing on. The changing room will be closed, and we cannot tie up the bathroom for people needing to change into their dance wear. So it is imperative that you only wear your class wear. You should be carrying in one pair of dance shoes. Be smart about what you're going to bring in. The only reason why you would need more than one pair of shoes is if you are having a tap class and something else in the same night. Otherwise, wear a shoe that you can use for all of your classes. Dancers should also have their mask on, and their mask should be on from the time that they leave their vehicle. Cell phones are okay in case you need to call your parents. Please silence them when you get out of your car, and you can also bring a water bottle. Please make sure you have your name on it. Dancers will be asked to sanitize their hands upon entering the studio. Once their hands are sanitized and dried, an instructor will be standing at the door of the large dance room. The instructor will wave the dancer over, and the dancer should stop on the next available mark on the floor. These marks have been placed 6 feet apart to ensure proper social distancing. When it is the dancer's turn, she can step up to the entrance of the big dance room, remove her street shoes, and carry them into the dance room with her other belongings. The instructor will guide her to one of the open floor markings on the dance floor, and she can then put down all of her stuff in her own personal little section. These dots are also placed 6 feet apart to ensure proper social distancing. The dance floor itself will have a grid laid out on the floor to ensure that dancers are staying far enough apart from each other. There are two different scenarios. If the class size is small enough, we can actually fit dancers into the big dance room and have them 12 feet apart from each other. When this is the case and dancers are able to stay 12 feet apart, they are not required to wear a mask during class. Of course, if they want to wear a mask, they are still more than welcome to do so. Whatever they want, that is at their discretion and the discretion of you as parents. The second scenario, we can still hold 12 dancers in the big room and they can still remain 6 feet apart from each other. However, when you are only 6 feet apart, it is required that you keep a mask on. We will keep windows open whenever possible to encourage fresh airflow throughout the studio space. Only one dancer allowed in the restroom at a time. Dancers must wash their hands before returning to class, and they will sanitize again after re-entering the studio space. There will be no use of ballet bars or shared props like stretch bands or turning boards. And whenever possible, we will have outdoor class when weather permits. When we are able to have class outside, we must still stay 6 feet apart, but we do not have to wear masks while outside. When class is over, dancers can head back to their own personal little floor markings to pick up their personal belongings. The instructor will call them over to the door one at a time. They will sanitize their hands again, and they can step out onto the little porch on the side of the building, put their street shoes on, and they will walk along that side of the building to meet you in the parking lot. Please be prompt when picking up your dancers, as our staff will not be able to stay outside with them to await your arrival, as we will need to get ready for the next group of kids coming in. As we are creating our schedule for next week, we are making sure that we are leaving ample time between each group of kids coming in and out so that our instructors have enough time to thoroughly disinfect and clean to get ready for the next group coming in. Our cleaning includes, but is not limited to, cleaning and disinfecting of all doorknobs and other surfaces that are considered high traffic surfaces, as well as cleaning and disinfecting the actual dance floor each and every time a new group comes in and out. The bathrooms will also be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected between each group. I just wanted to take a few moments to address some questions or concerns that the dancers specifically may have. How will we do our recital dances in our own squares? So this is why we are bringing you guys in next week. We are going to figure everything out together. Slight modifications of dances may have to be done so that we can stay compliant with our social distancing guidelines. So if you can't make next week's classes, or you don't feel physically ready to come back to the studio, but you do still want to participate in our recitals, you have a couple options. You can tune in live via Zoom. Yes, Zoom is still around for us right now. You can tune in via Zoom. I will send out links to whoever is interested in live streaming instead of physically taking class with us. And we will also record every single class that we're teaching in the studio, and we will be very organized and very prompt about getting those videos to kids who may have missed class. The whole point of the classes next week is to get us ready for the show. What if I don't feel comfortable knowing all of my recital dances? Please do not worry. We are here for you. If anybody has taken class with me before or done a show with me before, you guys know that usually Miss Danielle is so clean and so precise and so picky with her recital dances. But you know what? Things have changed, circumstances have changed, life has changed. And at this point, our recitals next Saturday are just all about celebrating you guys, celebrating our studio, and celebrating dance. The instructors are actually going to be doing the dances with you off to the side, so if you do not know your dances 100%, it is more than fine. I would hate for anybody to not participate in the recital just because they don't know every single step or every single count of your dance. That's not what dance is about, everyone. Dance is about loving what you do and dancing to have fun. And that's what I'm stressing to you guys. Party like it's 1999, and let's just treat this as a true party, and let's have fun together, put on our beautiful costumes, and feel special for a couple hours on a Saturday. I'm going to try to meet with every age group / class at least twice next week. If you can make both classes, great. If you can only make one class, that is more than fine too. If you cannot make either class but would still like to participate in the recitals, that is totally fine as well. Just be sure that your dancer can either tune in live or catch up in the videos that we will send out. More costumes have been arriving to the studio as well, so if you did not receive all of your costumes at Costume Pickup Day, we have some more in stock so we can give those out as we meet with you guys. The next step for parents would be to go back into the email and fill out the 2 Google Forms that were included in the email. One of the Google Forms is an RSVP for participation for recital, and that also has questions about who is planning on physically attending class next week. This information is imperative for me to move forward in our planning, and so that I can let everybody know how many guests you will be able to invite to our outdoor recitals. The second Google form is a participation waiver. That has to be completed before dancers can take class with us next week and or participate in our recitals on June 27th. Dancers, you have no idea how excited I am to invite everybody back to the studio. Any tears shed from this point on are tears of happiness, and I cannot wait to dance with all of you again.